everyone, this is Colleen Lemma, starseed astrologer and spiritual messenger from sacredSoulEmpowerment.com. Here to do your weekly angel card reading for Monday, October 28th through Sunday, November 3rd, 2019. For this week's weekly reading, we'll be using the Power Angel Tarot deck by Radley Valentine for the main message for everyone. And your special message card this week, depending on your stone of choice, will be coming from the Black Moon Astrology cards by Susan Shepard. Just a reminder that this week's weekly reading takes us into a new month, the month of November, with a whole brand new energy. So be sure to go onto my YouTube channel and watch the monthly angel card reading for the month of November, complete with the highlights of the astrological transits, the energy vibration of the month, as well as messages from our angels and guides. So let's take a look and start out this week's video by looking at your stones of choice for this week. Your first stone of choice is called Zebra Jasper. And for each one of the stones of choice this week, I decided to not only give you at least one of the spiritual qualities of the stone that I'm showing you, but also it came upon me different phrases from our angels and guides, or from my angels and guides from Spirit, for each of the stones. And so what I heard when I picked the Zebra Jasper for this week was black and white, dark and light. So what I took that to mean was, are you looking at things going on in your life right now in a black and white mentality? Is it an either or? Are you allowing for any middle ground or any compromise or any other possible potentials, or are you looking things at just black and white? And dark and light kind of has the same sort of meaning, and maybe even the meaning of struggling between the dark and the shadow side and the light and your higher soul self within certain situations or relationships. So again, black and white, dark and light, and one of the properties of the Zebra Jasper is that it aids us in resolving difficult situations. Okay, your second stone of choice here is a Herkimer diamond. Looks like clear quartz, but it's actually what's called Herkimer diamond. It's even harder than quartz. Quartz crystal is one of the hardest stones crystals as far as its density, and this one is even more so. But what I heard when I chose this stone for this week's weekly reading is I heard the phrase crystal clear clarity. So are you looking for some sort of crystal clear clarity regarding a situation or a circumstance in your life? Do you need some sort of answers, some sort of guidance that is just really, really clear? And you can see that with the Herkimer diamond, you can almost look right into it. It's not like a piece of glass where you can see crystal clear right into the middle of it or into the inclusions within it. Now, one of the metaphysical properties of the Herkimer diamond is that it's a power stone that opens up the crown chakra. And what is our crown chakra about? Crown chakra, top of our head, it's about opening up to divine guidance and wisdom. So again, a power stone opening the crown chakra, crystal clear clarity. Okay, and then your last stone of choice is what's called K2. It's actually the letter K and then the number digit 2, K2. Interesting name for a stone. And what I heard when I chose the K2 for this week is the phrase, envision your truth, envision your true reality. So again, what is your true reality? Can you envision it? Can you visualize it? Can you see it with your third eye? Because that's what's going to help to make it a reality. Now, one of the metaphysical properties of the K2 is that it assists us in seeking universal truths. So truths on a universal level, higher truths, spiritual truths. So again, envision your truth, envision your true reality. Okay, so again, we have the choice between Zebra Jasper, Herkimer Diamond, or the K2 here for the week. So let's talk a little bit about the astrology for the week. So we start out on Monday, the 28th of October. And I briefly mentioned this energy in last week's weekly reading. We ended last week's weekly reading on Sunday the 27th, but because this planetary aspect or transit happens so early in the morning Pacific time on Monday the 28th, that's why I mentioned it for last week, but we're going to reiterate it. And it is the sun in the sign of Scorpio opposing or opposite Uranus in Taurus. So first thing is that a reiteration that we're in Scorpio season. The sun is in Scorpio, Venus is in Scorpio, Mercury is in Scorpio. Soon, Mars will be moving out of Libra and going into Scorpio, but not this week. And with that Scorpio energy, it's all about deep transformation and change. It's about death and rebirth. It's about owning your power and empowering yourself. And Scorpio deals with the shadow side. It deals with our subconscious fears and anxieties, and that's what we call the shadow. It deals with deep psychological subconscious energies that we're here to kind of transmute or transform, if you will. You know, again, Scorpio rules transformation. So we're here to transform something. And with the sun in Scorpio, which is the lens through which we're shining our light now, is that Scorpio energy, that lens of transformation, the lens of looking at our fears and anxieties or dealing maybe with some power and control issues so that we empower ourselves. When it's opposing Uranus on the 28th, and again, you might be feeling this on Sunday the 27th because it happened so early on the 28th, there could be some sort of sudden change or redirection or freeing yourself from something that is disempowering. Maybe it's freeing yourself from a circumstance or a situation. Maybe it's freeing yourself from a negative thought or a belief system that is not of a higher vibration. So it could be, again, situational, or it could be energy within you that you're freeing yourself from or redirecting yourself from. Now, the other thing is that Scorpio is a sign that rules other people's money and finances or partnership resources. And Taurus, which is the sign that Uranus is in, Taurus also rules personal resources, money, and finances. And so with this opposition, there could be something going on a financial level or with our personal resources, which can include other things besides money, anything that is a resource of ours. It could be an organization as a resource, some sort of project or thing that we're working on is a resource that we have, but we often think about resources as being financial. So again, there could be some sort of situation that's highlighted regarding money and finances that's both our money and maybe other people's money as well. So again, I want to go back to the transformation aspect though, and the death and rebirth aspect. You know, this could be some sort of sudden internal transformative experience to where we have some sort of revelation with Uranus that we need to redirect our energy, our time, our attention in a different direction or place. So there's a few ways that this could play out. And then on Wednesday the 30th, we have Mercury, the planet that rules the mental realm, our thoughts, our ideas, our communication style. And it's connecting with Venus. And Venus is the planet of love, relationships, partnerships. And again, she also rules money and finances as well, personal resources. They're both in the sign of Scorpio. So they come together in the sign of Scorpio at 27 degrees. And not only that, but this is going to be even a little bit more intensified. Scorpio is an intense energy as it is, but it's intensified because Mercury is at a stationary point on Wednesday the 30th. Mercury is getting ready to turn to retrograde motion on Thursday the 31st at 27 degrees of Scorpio. So it's making this connection between Mercury and Venus even stronger. And so what could this be about? This could be, again, some sort of deep contemplation, revelation on a psychological or spiritual level. This could be some sort of power and control dynamic with communications with others or with loved ones or in relationships that we have going on. There could be some sort of information that comes in regarding money, finances, other resources that we have in our lives. Again, this can play out in a variety of ways depending on how that Scorpio energy is unfolding for you, where it is in your chart, and what area of life it's affecting. But those things that I mentioned are probably the three most logical. In other words, again, something highlighted with money, finances, some sort of communication that maybe brings in some sort of feeling of power versus disempowerment versus empowerment of the self. And again, some deep psychological, metaphysical, taking a look at our subconscious fears and anxieties to transform and transmute them with that Scorpio energy. Now, Mercury retrograde starts on, as I said, Thursday, the 31st of October, and it will retrograde all the way back to 11 degrees of Scorpio on November 20th before turning back to direct motion. The thing is that Mercury is already in its shadow period. It went into its shadow period on October 11th and stays in that shadow period until December 7th. So we are already in that Mercury retrograde shadow, and we have been since, again, the 11th of October, bringing up miscommunications or confusing communications, or again, some power and control issue dynamics going on, whether it be at work or in family or in partnerships and relationships of various kinds. And it's during the Mercury retrograde cycle of the 31st of October through November 20th that gives us a chance and an opportunity to revise, rework, redo, to understand what that's all about and to kind of redirect it in a more appropriate way, which this Mercury retrograde includes you going through your own self-healing, your own meditation and contemplation and healing the dynamics of your subconscious fears and patterns that you've operated under that you no longer need to carry forward. It's giving us that opportunity to kind of understand on a deeper level what that's all about, and then to rework it so that as of the time of December 7th, when it moves out of its shadow, then hopefully everything is rectified, so to speak, whether it be, within an organization, work, relationships, within ourselves, that whatever that Scorpio, that retrograde Mercury in Scorpio is about, that we have this time period to kind of work things out. And then on Friday, the 1st of November, the very first day as we're moving into the new month of November, we have Venus going into Sagittarius. As I said, Mercury, Sun, and Venus, as of the beginning of this week, are all in Scorpio. But now Venus is the first of those three planets to move out of Scorpio and into the next sign, the sign of Sagittarius, which is mutable, changeable, fire, creation, spirited, expansive, freedom-oriented. So Venus being all about love and relationships as well as finances and money. We're going to have more of a lighter energy. It's more energized. It is a little bit changeable, so it can be a little flippy-floppy and uncertain, but definitely freedom-oriented, like we're feeling more free. And Venus can be about the divine feminine too. So I feel like the divine feminine, she's gone through the Scorpio realm of empowering herself, and now she feels free on some level, free within herself, or free maybe even from a situation, maybe from a relationship, or maybe from some sort of debt overhead, monetarily speaking. There could be new creative ideas that are coming in, and Venus will be in Sagittarius for a few weeks. And so it's not just a couple of days here, but it's a few weeks of Venus in that energy, and soon the Sun will follow and go into Sagittarius, and after Mercury retrograde is completely over, eventually Mercury will also move into Sagittarius, but that's going to be later on. So that is the astrological transits for the week. Let's go ahead and take a look at what our angels and guides have as messages. And you can see that there's 5 cards here. I try to start out by picking 3 cards, but when I was shuffling and getting ready for this reading, all kinds of cards were falling out of the deck, jumping out of the deck, just kind of flipping out. And so I always ask when that happens if this is meant for the weekly reading, and I was getting yes, yes, yes for all of these. So we have 5 cards to look at. And remember too that we just had a new moon in Scorpio on Sunday the 27th. So we're in a new moon cycle, but it's that Scorpio energy. And if you can recall the couple of days leading up to that new moon in Scorpio on Sunday the 27th, there was a lot of things kind of transpiring there. So let's go ahead and see what the energy is as we're now into this new beginning cycle on a deep transformative death and rebirth level. So the first card is Major Arcana 18 and the Moon. And this is with Archangel Haniel. Archangel Haniel is the archangel that helps us with our psychic abilities and impressions, as well as our healing abilities, too. Kind of that magical moon energy Archangel Haniel is associated with. So it's very fitting that we have the moon card here. And like I said, we just had a new moon in Scorpio, so it's not surprising that we have the moon card here. The moon also is about our shadow side, our subconscious fears and anxieties, which is what we've been talking about with this Scorpio energy. The message at the bottom says the opportunity to improve your plans. Listen to your intuition for accurate guidance. And it says face your fears and grow stronger. Now, as I was reading all that, my eyes were drawn to that full moon behind Archangel Haniel. And so, obviously it is the moon card, so the moon is potentially going to be on, the card, no matter what tarot deck we're using. But this time I really felt like as we approach the full moon, later this, actually it'll be in November. So as we approach the next full moon in November, I feel like there's something transpiring here between now, Monday the 28th here, right after the new moon cycle has started. 2 weeks from now, when the full moon approaches, I feel like there's going to be a lot of healing and transformation and changes and deep contemplation and looking at our emotions and how our emotions are maybe more sensitive with the Scorpio energy, or even the understanding of how our emotions are assisting in creating the reality that we're living. So I feel like there's going to be a lot going on here for the next 2 weeks. But needless to say, it again talks about facing your fears, looking at those subconscious fears that we all have. We all have a subconscious, and we all are dealing with hidden fears and anxieties, patterns that perhaps have come from the home and family that we grew up in. Moon usually rules the mother in astrology, or the nurturing parent. So we can look at that as well. This could even be something regarding your mother also that's maybe happening this week, or a connection that you have with your mother regarding your belief systems and the patterns that you're living under, and kind of looking at, did your mom have these patterns as well, and how can I heal these? So there's a lot of association here. Also listen to your intuition. Your intuition is going to be heightened with the moon card here. Again, Scorpio energy is very clairsentient, which is about feeling, sensing energies. So our intuitions and psychic impressions will be heightened as well. Let's take a look at the next card for more information. Okay, we have another Major Arcana. This is Major Arcana number 13. In this deck, it's called Peace, with Archangel Azrael. In the traditional tarot, this is actually the death card, but it doesn't necessarily mean a literal death. Sometimes there can be something like that occurs. This is about, souls that transition over with Archangel Azrael. That's what her role is to help those souls transition over, including our pets as well. But she's also the grief counselor angel. So grieving any situation or circumstance that seems to have come to an end is something that she helps us with. So it's about death and rebirth on a energetic level, transformative level, metaphoric level. Okay, so we're dealing with some sort of death and rebirth process here. And because it's following the moon, I'd say for sure it's dealing with a death and rebirth process of our own psyche, our own subconscious. Now the message at the bottom says, release the past. There is a more enriching future coming. Let go and let God. So again, you can see that letting go of the old, letting go of old karmic patterns, old belief systems, old emotions, old energies, and potentially, possibly, situations as well. But this is about releasing the past and getting ready for something new to be rebirthed into your life. That's going to bring you more peace, as this card is called. It's going to bring in a sense of more balance and more peace to your beingness. Now let's go ahead and take a look at the next card here. Let's spread that out a little bit. Okay, wow, we have another Major Arcana, Major Arcana number 9. In this deck, it's called Epiphany. And it's also, well, it's all with Archangel Raziel. For a minute there, I thought it was one of the other archangels that we already talked about, but it's Archangel Raziel. And this relates to the Hermit card in the traditional tarot deck. Okay, so the Hermit, going within, going into the darkness of your soul, but you're looking for the light within yourself. You're looking for answers within yourself. The way is being lit by you and for you, because oftentimes with the Hermit card and this card Epiphany, we have Archangel Raziel here, and he's in the dark. He's got a lightning bolt of energy behind him. There's a shadow of some sort of structure here behind him. And he's got a lantern, though. He's got a lantern in his right hand, lighting his way. He's lighting the way before himself. So he's not completely in the dark. He's being led. He's being guided. But that light is what he's holding, okay? It's not about looking for answers necessarily outside yourself. With the Hermit card, it's often about going within yourself to seek the answers, to find your inner truth, to find your inner light, and to bring that inner light out into the open. The word epiphany is like, going within, contemplating some sort of behavior pattern or, a circumstance or situations that you just can't figure out why it's happening. And all of a sudden you have some light of clarity coming in. You have an epiphany about what it's all about, why it's happening, what the purpose of this particular thing in your life is all about. Now the message at the bottom says, joy through spiritual growth, be a light to others, and answers that come through meditation. Okay, so I'm focusing on the first sentence and the last sentence here. The sentence answers that come through meditation is certainly highlighted with all the Scorpio energy. And spiritual growth, it does say joy through spiritual growth. Sometimes spiritual growth doesn't feel joyful, but if you can find the joy in spiritual growth, that you're growing, that you're evolving, that you're having these epiphanies, that you're finding your inner truth and you're lighting your own way and you're coming out of the darkness into the light, you're transforming yourself with the previous card, the peace card, the death card. We're going through a death and rebirth. We're going through a transformation. We're transmuting and transcending certain energies that we no longer need to carry. And this is giving us maybe some answers, an epiphany of why we've had to walk the path that we've recently been on, why we've had to go through certain situations or circumstances, or why we've been feeling or thinking the way that we've been feeling or thinking. All right, let's take a look at the next card here. Boy, this is pretty powerful so far. And when you have a lot of major arcana cards in a reading, this is about soul growth and evolution. When you have minor arcana cards, the other cards, like the suit of swords and the cups and the rods and what's the other one that I'm missing? The discs, the earth cards. When you have those minor arcana, it's about everyday life circumstances and situations playing out and happening. But when you have major arcana cards, you have a lot that deals with soul growth and evolution, the soul on a particular spiritual journey to have higher awareness and higher understanding. And yes, there can be some third dimensional situations and circumstances associated with it all, which is, how we travel that spiritual journey anyway. But this is really powerful so far with all of these major arcana cards. So the next card, wow, the World card, Major Arcana 21, the World card with Archangel Michael. We have all different archangels so far with these cards. Archangel Michael is the archangel that helps to release us from the past or helps to disconnect us from cords between us and situations, circumstances, or relationships with other people. He's the archangel that is the warrior angel that helps us with confidence and courage and energy and action and taking the next step forward on our paths. The World card is the last of the major arcana. It's a card of completion, but also a card of success. Now, it can be success as far as career, success in something that we're doing. But again, it's often associated with success on a soul growth and evolution level. So the message at the bottom says a very happy ending, coming full circle, spiritual growth and insight. Okay, so again, there's something here coming to completion. Now, we don't get to the full moon until next week's weekly reading. So it'll be curious to see how this plays out. I feel like, again, these cards, these energies, these messages are taking us past this week and into the next week as well, even though there might be different messages coming for next week's reading. But I feel like we have to extend this message beyond what this week is talking about. But there's definitely the completion phase of something that's happening, a phase of completion in our lives. Again, it can be just about soul growth and evolution, new belief systems, releasing old belief systems, that we've successfully traversed some sort of situation or circumstance on an inner level. But again, it can be some sort of completion on an outer level that happens as well. But as Archangel Michael says here, it's a very happy ending, and I feel like, even though sometimes we don't want to let something go, sometimes because, it's a familiar thing, or there is an aspect sometimes of sadness when we're releasing and letting something go. But sometimes there's also an aspect of relief, and if we can even get there, joy that comes with endings. Okay, and the last card, whoa, oh my gosh, new beginnings. And this is Major Arcana 20, new beginnings with Archangel Jeremiah. So every card, Major Arcana, every card, different Archangel, because with the Major Arcana in this particular deck, there is some of the Major Arcana that has some of the angels that are already mentioned. But in this week's weekly reading, we have all different archangels. And Archangel Jeremiah helps us to review the past so that we can move forward into the future. Hence, this card is called New Beginnings. In the traditional tarot deck, it's called the Judgment card. And it's not about judging other people or judging yourselves or anything like that, like we traditionally think of the word judgment and how it's defined. But it's meant to be about a spiritual, like karmic judgment. And that even doesn't sound positive, But it's about the way you live, the decisions you've made, how you've moved forward, how you've traversed a certain situation or circumstance. It's about like a karmic calling, a calling to your soul. In this case, let's just stick to what this is in this case, new beginnings. Okay, so we have a completion with the World card and then a new beginning. And the message at the bottom says, starting a new life, finding your purpose, a forgiving and compassionate review of the past, which again is Archangel Jeremiah's task, is helping you review the past so that you can see how far you've come, how much growth you've done, where you might need to change something or adjust something, and then where you're going to go next. But, interesting that the World says a very happy ending, and then this New Beginnings card says starting a new life. So again, there's some death and rebirth process that's happening with all this Scorpio energy. And again, I don't feel like it's necessarily going to be complete for everyone. Like I don't feel like the completion and the new beginnings all occur this week for everyone. For some of you, that may be the case. But remember too that this may be a continuation as we're building up to the full moon, which is going to be the end of next week, or it might be the beginning of the following week, as I don't remember the date, but it's right around that time. So now it's time to look at your special message card depending on your stone of choice. Okay, so let's take this deck here, the Black Moon Astrology cards. We're going to give it a little shuffle. And for the people that chose the Zebra Jasper, message for Zebra Jasper people, the one on the bottom feels like it's highlighted for me, so I'm going to choose that one on the bottom. This is Grand Trine and Blessings. What a beautiful message this is. A Grand Trine is when you have 3 planets or points, like the South Node, the North Node, those are points in space, but you have 3 planets or points that create a triangle, which is why you see a triangle here. So it's a very positive, harmonious flow of energy between these 3 points. And a Grand Trine often brings blessings into our lives. It's a very, again, easy, creative, harmonious energy. It makes me think of Jupiter. So, even though that's a different thing altogether, and Jupiter is even in this deck somewhere, but I feel, I think about Jupiter when I think of blessings. You might want to look, where is Jupiter in your chart? Are you having a Jupiter transit? Is your own Jupiter being transited by a different planet? Because Jupiter rules abundance, prosperity, and blessings. And so, needless to say, even if we're not including you looking at your chart and where Jupiter is, there's some sort of blessings coming your way. And, you know, I get this message coming full circle. And I think that the World card even said that, coming full circle. So there's something that's coming full circle, and it's bringing some sort of positive, harmonious new beginnings or blessings into your life this week, and again, perhaps into the week following as we approach the full moon. But that's a very positive message for you all. And then for those of you that chose the Herkimer diamond, okay, let's look. Herkimer diamond people. You know, my eyes keep going to this one here. So Herkimer diamond. Whoops, it's upside down. That's interesting. I don't really use upside down in any of my decks. Well, maybe one or two of my decks, but not the ones I usually use for my weekly readings. But this is Capricorn. The first thing that draws my attention here is that it's number 22. Number 22 is a master number in numerology, so it's a power number. The 2 is about relationships, balance, equality, and master number 22 is the master builder and the master manifester. You know, it's about manifestation of something. And Capricorn is kind of like that too. Capricorn is an earth sign. It's practical, it's grounded, it's goal-oriented, it's ambitious. It uses its resources, and you can see the phrase here, the key phrase for Capricorn in astrology is I use. They use the resources at hand. So they use their gifts, talents, and abilities. They might use monetary resources of themselves and others. They use resources to move forward on their path, to get to where they want to go. And they don't mind taking one step at a time to get there. You know, they'll take one step at a time. They'll climb the mountain little by little, so to speak. It's ruled by the sea goat. And if you think about a goat, in this case it's a sea goat, they climb a mountaintop. And sometimes they're climbing a mountain that goes straight up, that you couldn't even possibly think, how could any animal or human being climb this mountain that's, you know, at a vertical kind of angle here. So they really work hard to get to where they want to go. And again, they use the resources that they have, and sometimes resources of other people as well, to get to what they want, to manifest what they want. The earth signs are all about manifestation and working on the third dimensional level. And again, master number 22 has that similar feel of being the master manifester, manifesting something powerful and big in your lives. Okay. And then for those of you that chose the K2, pick up our deck here. And we'll give this a little shuffle. And we're looking for the message for K2. Okay, the one on the bottom again is kind of feeling like it wants to be picked. This is the 6th house, routine. Now, the 6th house in astrology is about work, service to others, health, and our routines. It's ruled by the sign Virgo, which is another earth sign. Okay, so we still have this kind of practical, analytical, logical energy going on here with the 6th house. There's something about routines. There's something about paying attention to what your routines are and maybe needing to change them up a little bit. I feel like with all the major Arcana cards that we have going on and the soul growth and evolution and the transformation and death and rebirth that we've been talking about, that it might be that you're stuck in some sort of routine that you need to get out of. Not that routines are bad necessarily, but sometimes if we dress a certain way, have a certain routine in the morning, drive a certain way to work, think a certain way, believe a certain way, we get into this routine that goes over and over and over again. We get the same foods when we go out to the restaurant, whatever it might be. If we change up our routines, then it's kind of a message to the universe that you're willing to look outside that box. You're willing to kind of expand your scope of awareness. You're willing to let some sort of new energy in. And that's what I feel with this card and routine. Not that we need to have routines, although there might be that with some of you too. Maybe there needs to be more of a routine with work, or the amount of time you're going to spend on doing X, Y, or Z, or whatever. So for some of you, there might be a need for more routine. And for some of you, I feel like it's a time to get out of the routine. So you can decide which one you're in. You know, if you're a person that really likes things to be the same all the time and you have a certain routine going on with family, work, you know, relationship, whatever, maybe it's time to look outside the box and expand outside of that routine. If you're someone that kind of lacks groundedness, direction, or awareness, and you kind of flit from one thing to another and kind of just go with the flow, maybe it's time to create a routine or create some sort of list or create the steps that are needed to take to move you to the next step. And maybe it's a combination of both. Maybe in some areas of your life you need more routine, and maybe in some areas of your life you need to let go of the routine. Okay, so I get that too. So I hope you've all liked this weekly angel card reading. Thank you so much, everyone, for your love, your support, your positive messages, for subscribing to my channel, for sharing my videos, for commenting on my videos, checking out my Facebook pages on Facebook, and my new and improved website as of a few months ago. Thank you so much for all of your love and light and positive energy that you send my way. That's a resource for me that is very positive in my life, is just the fact that you think about me, watch my videos, send me a comment every now and again, in appreciation. And I appreciate each and every one of you as well. So thank you so much. I send you all lots of love and light and many, many angel blessings.